The Seventh Ray by the Ascended Master Saint Germain. Visualization and contemplation as a form of invocation. The power to think that lies within the consciousness of man is one with the creative faculty by which the Godhead molded the unformed substance of the universe into stars, planets, and systems of worlds. As soon as man thinks a thought, a form is made. The degree of development of his mental body determines the clarity and perfection of the thought form. The life which fills the thought form and makes of it a living, breathing, palpable presence is released through the feeling body of the individual. The quality, nature, and development of the feeling body determines the purity and strength of the energized thought form. These creative centers of thought and feeling are energized by the director of a group in cooperative visualizations, whether for the focusing of certain activities of the sacred fire, such as the cosmic fiery flame of freedom around the individual, group, or nation, or the establishment of the mystic ring-pass-knot, which forms the protective shell around anyone's aura. The ability of the director to create a clear thought picture and to stimulate the cooperative feeling nature of the assembly will determine the efficacy of this portion of the service. Builders of form and angelic beings assist in this portion of the service. Into these thought forms are poured the actual substance and essence of the spiritual energies released from the blessings of individuals serving in their particular locations and gathered up by the masters and the silent watchers of different localities who utilize these meetings toward this end. The ring-pass-knot. The mystic ring-pass-knot, of which the ancients spoke, may again be created by the conscious student through the power of visualization and decrees, as explained above. The natural radiation from the golden man within the heart, pouring forth through the physical and inner bodies, forms such a golden circlet of fire around the physical body. When the attention is drawn to this indwelling Christ presence, the outpouring of the God light intensifies this circlet until it becomes an actual transmuting force of all substance and energy, either consciously directed toward the student or through which he must pass in his orderly course of daily living. Decrees as a method of invocation. Thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee. The clothing of the ideas and truths and the physical energies of the individuals who make up the groups through the spoken word covers the thought and feeling forms created by the mental and emotional body with the actual substance of the third-dimensional plane. It lowers the vibratory action of the spiritual energies to a point where they vibrate on the same plane as the conditions that need adjustment. This provides a mighty stockpile of qualified physical energy which is utilized by the God beings to dissipate evil forms and foci of every kind. As most of the conditions affecting mankind are vibrating at a rate similar to that which can be released through the spoken word, the power to remedy these conditions is greatly intensified by the individual or group who chooses to be the step-down transformer of the more subtle energies which form the master authority in the higher spheres. Truth is, but it manifests on every plane only as some intelligence grasps that truth and positively releases it through the plane or sphere in which he is functioning at any given time. The efficacy of the decree is determined both by the amount of feeling and conviction that is released through it, and the clarity of the picture held in the mental body, which actually forms the pattern around which the physical energies of the worded fiat coalesce. For instance, the flaming sword of Lord Michael, the Archangel of Deliverance, is his own thought form, vitalized by his God feeling of absolute mastery and directed by his will and often his word into conditions that require assistance. If he had no clean-cut thought, his sword would be vague, vapory, poorly formed, and would act with little efficacy. The ability of the student to picturize the activity which he is decreeing to be established unto him or through him, and the amount of positive feeling in the efficacy of that activity to manifest control of a situation form more than 80% of the power in the decree. Therefore, the interest of the student must be behind the decree, and his energies must be positive and controlled if he is to have results of a positive nature. The amount of power which is released through the decree varies according to the nature of the student. I have seen a man struck dead by a whispered decree of hate and venom, which was charged with sufficient force to shatter the physical envelope. Of course, the generator did not realize that he was signing his own death warrant the moment he released his decree. The control of energy through the vocal cords is determined by the amount of mastery which the individual has over the emotional body. The volume of sound released is not as important as the quality of the sound. For instance, the hysterical scream of a person in distress releases much volume, but renders no constructive service. Yet there is the controlled summons of the initiate which raises the dead to life, and which in both volume and power is known to shatter glass and blow out walls. Some individuals can, by nature, be extremely positive in the use of a low, masterful tone. Others cannot convey feeling except by the exertion of a measure of physical force which gives assurance to the life stream of accomplishment. Here, freedom is the order of the day. Action is the requisite of the hour. Balanced control of energy, whether it is coupled with the loud voice by which Jesus raised Lazarus from the tomb, or the voice of the silence by which the sun is bidden to rise each morning from the bed of night. When the decree is coupled with the visualization of the activity of the sacred fire which is being invoked, the positive quality of the voice will avoid the sense of battle which is sometimes apparent in the uncertain life energy of the student. On the other hand, more feeling is charged into the group which will be revivified in their individual activities if the decrees are given in a good, firm manner. The importance of the audible decrees lies in the fact that the thought and feeling forms are clothed in the substance, energy, and vibratory action of the octave in which most of the distressing appearances abide. I would emphasize that power is drawn and focused through the rhythmic invocation, which emphasizes the feeling of the student body, clarifies the thought form, and builds the momentum in the release of the energy, not only of the unascended beings, but of the great ones who always respond to such calls. Unless the group with which one is working are masters of invocation, force is scattered by changing the pattern and decree too often, and little is accomplished thereby. When I am called upon to work with a group of chelas, my first endeavor is to center the consciousness of the individuals within the heart of the sacred fire. From this center, the invocative powers of the life streams are most effective. I consciously enter and abide within the heart of the sacred fire, the true center of my being. I am the presence of God within the heart of the sacred fire, and I speak and command with authority. I am vested with the power of the 3 times 3. I am vested with the power of transmutation. I am vested with the power of precipitation. I am vested with the power of levitation. On and ad infinitum. Short, clear endings are preferable because they seal the decree in the feelings of the energy of the students as well as the conditions which are being transmuted. Then, in the command and authority of the presence within the heart of the sacred fire, utilize the power in one good rhythmic decree and let the momentum build. In the name of the presence of God which I am, through the magnetic power of the sacred fire vested in me, I command, etc. In the decrees, I advocate using constructive thought patterns rather than destructive ones like tornado, because all destructive activities of nature picturized add to the coming appearance when nature's forces are unleashed. If you were in a position to have the inner sight open for a moment and could see the tremendous response of the beings at inner levels when a group of mankind vested with the conscious power of the sacred fire send up the rhythmic release of their energy in a word pattern, it would fire you with the desire to stay with that form until the signal of your feeling world acknowledged full accomplishment. The ascending invocation completes its pattern on the last word of the decree, and the God beings begin their outpouring on the first word of the acceptance. On the next rhythmic wave, the ascending invocation rises to the top of the preceding crest and then, with the added momentum of the increased energy, pierces further into the upper spheres and brings back an amplified outpouring. The competence of the director in drawing the energy into a rhythmic beat determines the efficacy of the decree and the height to which it can reach, with the subsequent return of the godlight into the world of men. This is exactly the principle followed in using a battering ram against a locked door, or used to harness the energies of men in the old days at the oars of the galley or the ropes of the Volga boats. Today we use it to more constructive ends. The volume of sound is not so important as the unity of the energy. Some people can accept accomplishment only through the strong release of the spoken word. Others can accept accomplishment through the feelings. It all depends upon the evolution of the individual and the tendencies of the nature. Suffice it to say, rhythm, one-pointedness, clarity of the pictured activity, and sufficient speed of timing to keep the inner bodies alive are requisites to God accomplishment. As there is no limit to the powers of the God protection that can be called forth, and no limit to the transmuting power of the cosmic Christ love, you have everything at hand by which to draw forth, protect, and sustain your God endeavors. Rhythm. The universe is builded on rhythm, precision, and harmonious expansion and contraction. In decreeing, in singing, in breathing, in walking, perfect rhythm is the balanced activity of life, and when it is incorporated into the ritual of the seventh ray, there will be no sense of exhaustion or depletion. When the energies of the life stream are off-center, endeavor becomes effort.